Good evening, friends. Welcome, flower friends. I am so glad to be here with you this evening, and I'm so glad that you are here. My name is Lisa Mason Ziegler, and tonight I am sharing why I am so excited to be leading boot camp for my flower farm and online school students. And I'm going to be talking about what to expect in boot camp, as well as how to get in, and so much more. Boot camp is really my way to kind of come alongside you and walk alongside you on your way to flower farming success. So I created boot camp as a tool, literally, y'all, to keep you out of the ditches. And because I know the ditches so very, very well, and I want to just help people kind of flex and build up their perseverance muscles. And I'm telling you, that's what it takes. It doesn't take the smartest person in the world. It takes the persistent person. And I want to help you to be persistent despite all the difficulties, and to keep going when the going gets really, really tough, right? And it takes time. And I know exactly how it feels to walk alone and how easy it is to quit. And so most business people, not just flower farmers, actually just kind of quit before they actually get to the success part. And I am just really created boot camp to help prevent that from happening. And boot camp is my current bonus that I'm offering for all my students that are enrolled in flower farming school by midnight 11/8, November 8th, which is actually tomorrow night. And I mean, I'm going to talk more about that later, but it's 7 live coaching group sessions. And I am so stoked over it, y'all. And I want to for just a moment, if you're somebody that thinks you want to be a flower farmer, I want you to stop and just pause and think about, don't make this dream so big that you feel like you can't achieve it, because you can. And I'm going to show you how. Boot camp starts 1 week from tonight. Actually, 1 week from tonight, I'll be teaching and in boot camp, right? And I'm making this opportunity available again. We've had a lot of noise going on in the world, right? And we just didn't want anybody that wants to enroll in flower farming school and take advantage of this incredible opportunity of boot camp to miss out on it. So tonight, I am going to walk you through a bit of the cut flower industry, and I'm going to help you imagine what your future could look like as a flower farmer, and the details of all about what boot camp is, as well as flower farming school. So let's get started here, friends. So I have a little slideshow I'm going to bring up here. So the title of this is Flower Farming School, Why Boot Camp? And we'll talk about that in just a moment. And I mean this, friends. Turn off all the distractions. Give me your undivided attention for probably less than an hour, and I promise you it'll be worth it. Silence your phones, close your door, get out of your inbox, right? So stay with me to the end, because I want to tell you all about the boot camp bonus, because it ends tomorrow night. You do not want to miss out on that if you want to have. It's almost like painting by the numbers, y'all. When you're in flower farming school, that's kind of what I think about. It just walks you through step by step. So stay with me to the end, and you will hear more about that now. But first, I want us to really just talk about some cut flower industry information, because a lot of people aren't aware of this. And I think it'll reassure your questions, maybe answer some of your questions, reassure your doubts, and just kind of make you be a more rounded, informed person, right? So the first thing is, how many cut flowers are sold each year, right? Well, it's very surprising, y'all. Cut flower sales are reported in billions, not millions. And according to Utah State University, Americans alone buy over 10 million stems of flowers a day, y'all, a day. That, if you add that all up, that is well over $6 billion a year. And if you don't have a calculator that does billions, figure this out. Sales are projected to continue growing at over 4% a year. That's like $240 million more dollars, y'all. I'm hoping all this is making you feel like there is a reason to become a flower farmer. And 80% of these cut flowers being sold in the United States are being imported. They're coming from distant lands. And there's enough cake to go around, and you can grab your part of it. The key is you just have to claim yours and actually find it. So, a question I hear a whole lot is, there are so many flower farmers. Is there really room for me? And while it may appear, friends, on social media that there are tens of thousands of flower farmers on social, I don't find true businesses to actually, for that to be true for people that are actually in business. So while it may appear, there really are not that many flower farmers. And let's take a look why. So you can't judge a book by its cover, and you really can't judge social media, right? So let's first talk just a moment about flower farming groups. Now, the majority of the folks that are in those groups are actually there searching and looking for help and answers. They haven't started businesses. And statistics actually say they never will, because they can't push back the fear, and just actually take the plunge, right, and do it. And then we have the flower farming businesses. The working flower farming people are way outnumbered by the want-to-be flower farmers. There are a lot of wannabes running alongside the flower farmers. And what that adds up to, friends, is that it misleads us and makes us think there are so many flower farmers. But even if there were, friends, if there were over 40,000 flower farmers, let's just say, if we start chopping up that $6 billion plus dollars, that still has over $150,000 per flower farm. But of course, we know that in reality, only a tiny portion of those people that we see on social are actually in business and doing it. So you can rest assured there is room for you when you come in and get trained to become a professional flower farmer. Now, if you're wondering if you can become a flower farmer, I know that's what I did. I wondered actually for a couple of years before I took the plunge. And this was me. Are you a gardener with a dream? Are you the person that just loves gardening, but you have no farming or business experience, and you're just not even sure that it's a possibility for you, right? Or we have a lot of these. You've been growing cut flowers, but you're afraid of selling. You have to understand this. So I love telling this story. My husband had to literally put me and my flowers in the car and almost had to drive us to my first flower call. So I know all about being afraid of having to sell your flowers. And so maybe you don't have a greenhouse or a tractor, and you're wondering, is it even possible? And I want you to know that I still don't have acreage, and I don't have any greenhouses, and I have farmed for over a decade without a tractor. So which one are you? I'm wondering, are you number one? Are you a gardener with a dream? Or are you number two? You've been out there growing the flowers and giving them away and gifting people because you're terrified to sell them, or you're just not even sure it's possible for you because of what you think you don't have. And I would love for you to get into the comments and just write, are you number one, number two, or number three? Because, friends, I was number one and number two. I was so terrified to sell my flowers. I was the person that thought, I'm going to walk in down there with my flowers and they're going to take one look at them and say, why would we want to even buy your old garden flowers? I mean, I was really terrified. Oh, there we go. We've got some number twos. And I'm telling you, friends, the more confident you get in training, the better this just falls away from you. All right, so friends, it doesn't really matter whatever your reason is. I am just super glad that you're here. Now, if we're meeting for the first time, and we're new friends, just a very little bit about how I came to be here. So I'm married to my best friend, Stevie. We live in southeastern Virginia with our golden Tucker, and my little city flower farm is located on less than 3 acres with no greenhouses, and it produced over 250,000 stems of flowers each year from the field. I launched my business in 1998, and I had just two little, they were actually smaller than quarter-acre gardens. And back then, I was a business manager of a very busy veterinary hospital in my previous life. And that experience just really taught me the importance and the impact that the business part of flower farming has on your flower farm. It led me to find and keep more customers than I ever had flowers for the life of my business for 25 years, y'all. And I attribute my decades of success as a flower farmer to keeping my eye on the ball of a flower farmer, and that is selling my flowers. And that's why you have to overcome that. And so, I've taught thousands of students to start and grow flower farming businesses. I've authored 3 books, and my passion for growing and selling, and y'all, I just absolutely adore flower farming, is only rivaled by my desire to teach other people how they can do it. And I particularly want to reach those people that were just like me and think they aren't equipped, they can't do it, they're in the middle of the city, they're just a novice, they don't even know how to farm. That's my jam, y'all. Those are my people. Now, this is my little city flower farm. And so this is where we grew and harvested over 10 to 15,000 stems of flowers each week, y'all, in season. And take a look at this. Is the surprise I love to share with people. I mean, when I tell you that I'm in the middle of the city, that looks a little country, right? But you just wait until that turns around. And if you're a city dweller like me, even you can build a flower farming business. And I just love the surprise of this. Look at this, y'all. I am now totally and completely engulfed by houses. My flower farm is in the middle of the city. And if I can do it, you can do it, right? All right. So, through the years, I sold in almost every market to 23 florists, 2 supermarket chains. I sold at 3 farmers markets. We had a 75 subscription bouquet drop off, and I had a members only on farm flower market of 175 members ongoing. And I had waiting lists for all of those sales channels, y'all. That is the key, right? All right. So just again, you're going to hear me use that word imagine a lot here tonight. What would it feel like if you had customers waiting in line for flowers? And what that would mean is that part of the business is up and running, and you can get down to growing the flowers, the part that literally is what lights you up. That's the part that drew us all here, right? 99% of the flower farmers that I know are gardeners gone wild. They're people that were gardeners that loved it, found out this was an actual industry, and are doing it, right? And, a big part of my success and why I encourage you to not make this dream bigger than you can bite, because when you can target and align yourself with the right markets to fit what your resources are, you can become a successful flower farmer. And, I don't know if maybe some of you may have attended that masterclass that I did last week. And we talked about in the masterclass 14 different sales channels. Half of them were retail and half of them were wholesale. And as my student, all of my students have access to that actual masterclass. And there is a market to fit everyone. And my members only business model fits just about everybody. It can actually be tweaked. So, friends, that is a big part. Instead of just rushing in to grow, we have to check the market out. Now, this is where the line is drawn in the sand. And I will tell you, I talk to these people every day, y'all, and I see them on social media. People that are the professional part is the part that's missing from them. And it's a big part. You don't realize how that's going to be an issue for you coming up. And because this is what separates the hobbyists that do it for a little while and just stop because they say they can't make money doing it, and the people that succeed. And again, I want to say the people that succeed are the people that don't quit. And it is really hard to quit when you don't have your own posse. So, what does it take to be a pro? Top quality stems to really produce top quality. And, that means knowing what to grow, what stage to harvest, the conditioning steps, right? And here's perhaps one of the biggest pain points is making it easy for your customers to buy. Convenience is key, y'all. Think about where everybody rushes to nowadays to get stuff quick and easy. The minute you click it, you know when it's going to show up, how much you paid for it. We have to make it more accessible for our customers, and we have to do that through embracing technology and updated ways to sell your flowers. All right, so the next thing that really sets a professional apart from the rest is they move their flowers quickly because we have customers waiting all the time. That means you're not sitting on old flowers, you're not moving buckets around. It eliminates so much of your day-to-day chores and tasks, right? And then here's another really big one: pricing according to the market. And friends, you are going to have to figure this out for yourself. It is based on what the market is, that or the sales channel you're selling through, and what your local pricing is at. And then the last one, the producing a consistent supply, y'all. This is the superpower of a flower farmer. It's about succession planting, and this is about how you can actually keep your flower farm. Now, friends, I'm doing something I have never done tonight, and I want to encourage you to join along with me. All right, so I'm going to ask you to close your eyes for just a couple of minutes, and I am going to talk you through what it could be like for you to have a flower farm. And I want to say to you, if you've never done anything like this, closing your eyes and closing the noise out and just taking a breath for a minute and stick with me through this, okay? Y'all do it now. I can't see you, but close your eyes for just a moment and let's go on a journey together. And this may sound a little cheesy, but it's not, friends. Just do it. Just imagine a few months from now, you've mapped out where you're going to sell your cut flowers. Now imagine that your garden is built, planted, and it's growing up. And spring is just around the corner. And so is the harvest. And then it happens, friends. You sell your first flowers. They pay you for the flowers that you've grown, and they want more. Now, based in that for a minute, now fast forward 12 months from spring, and now you have a season of growing and selling and business under your belt. You're working hard, but you're loving what you're doing. And then you stop to say and wonder, how did I get here? And friend, I'm here to tell you, it's because 12 months ago, you made a decision to invest in yourself and your dream. You pushed the fear aside and listened to that voice that said, I can do this. And I'm here to tell you, you can do this. The only thing that is missing is how to do it and the support you need to get there. Now, all you have to do, friend, is to bet on yourself. And now, open your eyes. I don't know if, um, you know, you've ever done anything like that, but for me, I'm very easily distracted. Closing my eyes and just imagining really can make all the difference. And, if you want to pursue this new future, then I'd like to tell you about the next steps that you can actually take with me. And I would love to walk alongside you and guide you through this entire process of starting a flower farm, from getting started to building the garden, right down to selling it. And that is what I am all about now. So you have two choices. You can search the internet, hunt and peck for information, and hope that it's correct, right? You never know. Or we can do it together. And, you can do it using my proven practices, tips, techniques, most importantly, support. Would you rather learn from my mistakes or from your mistakes? And so let me just tell you a little bit about my course that can guide you through to flower farming success. And that is Flower Farming School Online, the basics, annual crops, marketing, and more. And I'm going to tell you more about Flower Farming School here in just a moment, and then I'm going to tell you all about Bootcamp. But I want to say to you at this point in time that you have to put your trust in the process. For those of you that know me, I hope you can put your trust in me. And thousands of people from all over the world have shown up and done this work, and actually pursued starting their business. It actually works. When you know where to start and when you know what to do and you have an actual destination, friends, it all is so much easier. I would love for you to get in the comments and just tell me what's holding you back from becoming a flower farmer. What's your fear? And let me tell you something, friends. We could do a whole hour on just the things that terrified me back in the beginning. And I had no more advantage than what many of you may have today. I had no equipment. I was a novice gardener. We barely had the internet. I had a book and some magazine articles. I really did not have much support. But I followed the guidelines that one person gave to me, which was a professional. And here I am all this time later. So let me tell you just a little bit about Flower Farming School, and then I want to talk to you about Bootcamp. So I created Flower Farming School, which is an online, self-paced platform that can transform your dreams into reality. It is a beginner-friendly online school that helps students grow their business with confidence, y'all. This course is the roadmap to sharing the building block steps to becoming a successful flower farmer and how to hit the reset button. Perhaps if you already are if you've already started a flower farm, but you just aren't making it yet, you're still overwhelmed. You just don't know what's got you stuck. This course is for you. Now, just a little bit about the boot camp for just a moment. I'm just going to sprinkle this throughout. Boot camp is a bonus that I am currently offering when people are enrolled in my flower farming school. This is all of my past students and they're all my current students. It's all of my students in basic. I absolutely love teaching live, if you couldn't tell, from this training. And my team knew that I would just thrive in an intensive session of teaching from my course. So I'm doing it for all of my students. And so let's just talk for just a minute a little bit about Flower Farming School. Now, I cover all the topics that are essential in starting and growing a flower farming business. I mean, I'm serious, friends. It's like a paint by the number. You start at the beginning and we go throughout this class, and it's going to just walk you through all of the steps. So boot camp is it's like the icing on the cake, y'all. It's what actually is going to like kick you in the pants and get you started, because not only it's going to encourage you, and I'm going to show you how, but you're going to be so confident, you're going to be so engaged, that it's just, we know now that people really need just a little bit of, here's how you do it, and this is what's in there, and this is what you're going to learn. It makes an amazing difference. Now, let's just run through. There's 6 classes in flower farming school. Each class has multiple sessions. There's a total of like 15 hours of sessions in the entire class, plus additional bonuses, which I'll tell you about in a minute. And so I cover all the topics. And the first one is starting and sustaining a business. So each one of the boot camp sessions, there's 7. There'll be one for each of the 6 classes. And I will tell you, this is going to be the first boot camp session, which is a week from tonight. And I'll tell you what that boot camp session, the mini training, is going to be all about. Friends, it's going to be about time management, which is a piece of this first class. If you can't manage your time, you will never manage a business. And that's our first boot camp session. So this is eating the ugly frog first, y'all. This is the stuff that nobody wants to take care of, getting set up, figuring out what licenses you need to have, about your taxes, you need to have sales tax, finding time to run a business. This is the stuff that nobody really wants to mess with. But I am telling you, when you eat the ugly frog first and just move on, you feel so much better. And then the second class is building and managing the working garden. Now, I show you how to build beds by hand with a shovel and a wheelbarrow. I show you how to do it with a walk-behind tiller, and I show you how to do it with a tractor and a bed layer, which is that's a video actually that you're looking at there. And we do soil building, cover cropping, weed prevention. I mean, it's all about managing the working cutting garden, right? And then we do a deep dive on specific customers to sell to. This is actually an image from my members only on-farm market. And you know that master class that I told you about that I did last week? I'm sorry, y'all, I'm reaching for water. The PDFs that went along with that master class gives the behind the scenes details of my members only on-farm flower market, behind the scene details. And so all my students got that. And if you become a student, you would also get that as well as that video. But we cover selling on this. Then let's talk about what to grow. Low investment, high return. You're going to skip the stumbling of what you're actually should be growing. And we do it all outdoors in a garden because, I don't have any greenhouses, right? We cover warm and cool annuals, as well as a supportive landscape, which is what I call my landscape that I actually cut from. And then, y'all, there's a whole class on seed starting. I clear the confusion of seed starting. Do you start from seed, or do you buy plugs? Do you start it indoors, or do you plant it out in the garden? We show you how to build your own germination chamber, as well as the rules of the commercial seed starting, which is just really, really different, y'all, from home gardening, trust me. And then most importantly, class 6 is all about harvesting and conditioning the flowers. Y'all, this is what you're delivering to sell. Every step is really important. But this one is like, if they look bad, you're not selling them. If they don't last long, you're not selling them again, right? So this is an area that we go over the tools and the practices and the conditioning steps, and the cool and the warm. So this course has 6 big classes, tons of PDFs, videos, and I'm going to go through all that in a minute. Friends, I just can't tell you how many. It answers all the questions that we hear and see on social media every day. And am so proud. I put my heart and soul in building this course, and it is to help you be successful. Now, and I'm sure this is what's on your mind. So, what does this course cost? That's always the burning question, right? So, it's $695. You get lifetime unlimited access. What does that mean? That means if you have internet, you can log in and get into your course, and you can watch the sessions as many times as you want over and over again. So, as a business expense, I always think, so what do I need to do to make that much money? It's like, okay, I'd need to sell 2 subscriptions, or maybe a florist order or 2, or maybe that's a morning at the market. Y'all, this is a flower farming course, which means it's to start your business. And this would be a business expense. I will tell you that if you apply a quarter of what's in this course to your business, you will make that money back tenfold, from just things, avoiding problems that we'll teach you about in here, and how to do things. Now, you can do the 1 pay or the 2 pay. You get the boot camp with either one. So you can do a 2 pay, 1 pay today, and another payment in 30 days, or the 1 payment. And again, you get boot camp with both of these payment plans. Now, let me just tell you what's in this program, right? So the school includes 6 training classes from starting to building and selling. It includes videos, PDF guides. It is 100% keyword searchable, y'all. That means if you have a question about zinnias or deer or whatever, you type it in the search bar or in the little hourglass, and it brings up all the places where you can find that in the course. That makes this a tool for a lifetime, right? I mean, that's no joke on that. And then, of course, we have the boot camp bonus. Now, you can go to thegardenersworkshop.com and actually put it up on, it's at the top of the banner, is at the top of every website page, or you can click this link and you can enroll. That'll take you straight to the page that tells you all about the course. It shows you the syllabus. It gives you, there's customer testimonies, student testimonials are there. But you can always go to thegardenersworkshop.com. And if you enroll now, that means you secure your spot in Flower Farming School along with my boot camp. All right, so let's see what we have next here. Now, let me get rid of this out of our way. So let's talk about boot camp for just a few minutes. So boot camp is the bonus that all of my students will get that are enrolled by tomorrow night. The first boot camp is 1 week from tonight. There are 7 live boot camp sessions. The first one is November 14th, and the last one is January 23rd. And then they're kind of scattered out between those 2 dates. And you actually get those dates when you enroll. And each one of the boot camp sessions covers one of the course classes. And I will kick off each one of those sessions with a mini session on a topic from that class. Like I already shared, that the first boot camp is going to be about time management. Because friends, I mean, I am telling you, if you cannot manage your time, and it's really easy to do when you learn the rules of the game. And I mean, I just can't tell you how it is just changed. That's why I get so much done. People always are asking me, we just don't know how you get it all done. It's because I manage my time. Because let me tell you something. Albert Einstein and Mother Teresa had the same 24 hours a day that we do. It's all about what you choose to do with your time, right? And so the first boot camp mini session for boot camp number 1 is managing your time. And I'm telling you, if you apply it, it'll rock your world. So that is the lowdown on boot camp. And I really created boot camp because I know how easy it is to quit, y'all. I'm just going to bring my face back up here for just a minute. I know, I mean, me as being, owning a business, being in business, we face challenges every single day. And I'm telling you, there are so many, at least 2 days a month, I say we're closing up shop. And it's really about being discouraged with a little bit of fear iced on top of that. And that just never really goes away. And you want to know what saves me, why I'm still here 27 years later? It's by being with people that have their eye on the same ball as me. And that's why one of the reasons I created Flower Farming School. That's why we have a private community. People are cheerleaders over there, and they're picking people up off the floor when they're crying, over a disaster, which we all just went through that with the hurricane, as well as a bad experience with a florist or something. That community is so incredible. Encouragement and having confidence is what literally can make the difference, right? And I really want to hit that home with you. And so in addition to this boot camp that we're going to have 7 group sessions together where we're going to talk about that class, where I'm going to answer all your questions. We're going to have a mini training. And then we're also going to have a mini training in each boot camp about how best to use all the resources that are in the course. That is huge, y'all. That is huge. Now, in addition to this big school and these boot camp sessions, these are other built-in bonuses that come with Flower Farming School. We have the Cool Flowers Field Growers Report. This is an interactive database of where people, let's just say you're in Zone 5 and there's a cool flower. If you don't know what a cool flower is, it's a cool season hardy annual. That's the name of a book I wrote. And we don't know all of their winter hardiness temperatures or how cold they can go. And so if you live in Zone 5 and you actually grew a flower that we only know that it's winter hardy to Zone 6 and it survived your winter beautifully, you could enter it into this database to benefit other people, and other people are entering stuff to benefit you. It's totally searchable. It's just another great resource. We have a private student only online Facebook group. And friends, I will tell you that the community over there is a couple thousand people that are in it. And this is the most supportive group ever. And here's another bonus that we have for you. We give you a gallery of flower images that you can use when you're starting your business, on your website, on social media, and emails to potential customers until you can get your own images, y'all. We had so many people suffering with that. And then there's also 34 bonus video training in Flower Farming School. Friends, I'm telling you, this course has it will get you through the first years of becoming a flower farmer. Now, could this be you? Now, I want you just to think back for a minute. If you did that exercise with us where you closed your eyes and you imagined what your garden would look like, you harvesting flowers maybe. I'm telling you, friends, this is the pot at the end of the rainbow. It's the part that we want to get to. And you have to focus on those things to get through the hard stuff. And, having a dream without a start date isn't a dream at all. That's a fantasy. Right? And I am here to tell you that you can do it, and I would love to walk along beside you. So once again, what are you getting? So you're going to get Flower Farming School online, the basics, annual crops, marketing, and more, and you have immediate and lifetime access to this course. And that is in-depth information. It's tailored to the beginner to start and build a flower farming business, as well as all those bonuses I just mentioned that are in Flower Farming School, plus the 7 live boot camp group coaching sessions with me. And there's one for each and every one of those classes. Now, let's see what we have next. And so I just want to take this moment to, the boot camp for me is, it's my opportunity to help you out of the ditch. Because let me tell you, friends, it is so easy to get stuck and discouraged. So easy. When you talk to the most successful people It almost took them out. Did you know? I don't even know her name, and this is sad, right? The gal that wrote Harry Potter, she was turned down by like 20 publishers. The fact that she kept pushing is amazing. Not everybody can do that, right? And so boot camp is me extending my hand to help you persevere. And again, each live session is going to have a Q&A, and I will answer I'll address all the questions and answer them. I'm going to teach you a lesson from each class, plus the 7th boot camp is a wrap up on the whole Flower Farm and School course, right? And I want to just add here that, after boot camps are done, you can still get me to answer your questions. That's what our private community on Facebook is all about. You can tag me over there. We have a student ambassador. Anne is swimming in our student Facebook groups all the time, looking for questions that somebody maybe didn't tag me properly or I missed it. So your questions will be answered for the life of your flower farming interest, right? And each boot camp session also is going to include expert tips for using the course and the course material, as well as, friends, just my insights and my encouragement for you. And I just don't want anybody to miss this that wants to become a flower farmer, because all of my students enrolled by November 8th is actually going to be invited to come to boot camp. So again, there's a 2 payment and a 1 payment plan. The 2 payments, you would make 1 payment today and the other one would happen 30 days later. You get boot camp with both payment plans. So it doesn't matter which one that you'll get. Which one you actually use. And I wanted to add this. If you are already a member of the TGW family, that means if you own any of our online courses or you're in my club membership, that means you're a TGW family member. That, my friends, means you were emailed a $50 off coupon via email. And if you can't find it in your inbox, then you just reach out to info@thegardenersworkshop.com and Anne will get you fixed up. And that coupon is applicable to the 1 payment, and that would make the course $645 for all of that content, all of those videos, all those PDFs, plus boot camp and those additional bonuses that I actually read off to you. And so don't forget, if you're a family member, you get $50 off of that. Now let's just take a quick review here. So if you head over to thegardenersworkshop.com, there's a banner at the top of the page. You can click it and it takes you right to this page. This is what you'll be looking at. There's a short video here that I made, and that tells you a little bit about it. Right below that, there's the 1 pay and the 2 pay. You pick the one that fits you best, and that brings up the purchase window. You just fill out the information and click the button, and you're in Flower Farming School, friends. You have instant access to all of the content. You can join the closed Facebook group. You just have access to all of it, and you will be getting an invite to join the boot camp that starts 1 week from tonight. And then give us about 5 or 10 minutes and you'll check your email and it'll be there. You will either log into your online library if you already have courses with us and you purchased with the same email address, or you're going to set up your login, and that's going to dump you into your online library. And there's the basics class. And what I recommend, you click it and go straight to the welcome. And that just gives you a couple of housekeeping tidbits. I mean, I really recommend watching those first 3 or 4 videos. They're short right there. And then I print out all of the handouts and put them in a book and make a 3-ring binder. And, friends, you're still here. And I know you're busy, and I just really, really appreciate you showing up and being here with me today. And I know that you still may not be sure that you can become a flower farmer. And I know that I would love to help you if you want to walk on that journey, if you want to take that leap. and use our help. I can't wait to meet up with everybody on the live group boot camp sessions, and just to grow your flower farming business. And remember this, friends, we have a 7-day money back, no questions asked guarantee. And that means that, and we do this because we know you're going to love the course, y'all. If you, within 7 days of purchase, reach out via email and just say, this course isn't for me, we'll refund your money. That's no joke, right? And by the way, I don't even talk, there's so much I can say about this course. We have a phone app. You can listen to the sessions like podcasts. You can do a laptop, a desktop, a tablet. It's just so convenient and easy to learn, y'all. And you can get started today with 2 payments or 1 payment. It's whichever one is the easiest for you. You can head over to thegardenersworkshop.com. While the bootcamp bonus is still available, the banner is at the top of our website, on the top of every page in the gold banner, and you can sign up. You can go over there and read. You can read student reviews, and you can watch a video that's all the way at the bottom of the page. Friends, I would even say to you, put a holler out on social media and say, hey, is anybody taking Lisa Mason Ziegler's course? And get the feedback. Y'all, we spill all of our beans. We answer all your questions, or I answer all your questions. We are incredibly transparent because we know that there's a need for more professional flower farmers. There's the line in the sand, y'all. And I teach you to be a pro, to do it right, to get set up in business, to be legal, and how to produce top quality flowers that you are going to be thrilled and proud to sell, right? And, friends, I will take some questions now. If I didn't say that earlier, and I'm sorry about that. If you have, and let me look through here and see if we have any questions that I can address. All right, so just a couple of folks are, thank you for turning off your distractions. Let's see what this is. Would love insights on the cool flower season in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. We have frost, but it is typically overnight and most often January through February. So Mary Gray, I would recommend to you, frost, growing cool flowers is really all centered around your frost dates. So if you haven't read any of my books, the Cool Flower book, which is a really simple read, a lot of libraries have it. You can get it from us, or you can get it from your favorite bookstore. It is a Sunday read, and it describes the concept and how you apply it to your garden based on your frost dates. My other book, the Cut Flower Handbook, which just came out this year, is a deeper dive and gives you even more details. I would definitely recommend that you start with cool flowers. And if you're in South Carolina, girl, you can grow all the cool flowers. Most of them are fall planted. And that's the secret of how we grow bells of Ireland and sweet peas in the South. So you have to learn about that, right? That you will totally love that. All right, I'm looking, and thank you all for chiming in. And what you were afraid of. So I'm just looking for questions, y'all. So Sherry says she has a short growing season here in New Mexico. I would guess, I'm just guessing here, because that means you have a long hot season. And so succession planting is really what it's about, and hitting those markets. Let me tell you something. In high summer, this is one of the things that I mentioned in the master class, which I taught last week, which is now also available to my students along with the PDFs, is, in high summer is not always the best season to sell flowers. Oftentimes that's the slowest time because people are on vacation. But Sherry, I want to say to you, cool season hardy annuals don't require cold weather. They just grow best in cool weather. And you may find that in that spring and fall windows, you can grow flowers, and those are the highest demand seasons. And so that is something we would just love to explore in flower farming school. Oh, first time watching live. Oh, thanks. Well, welcome aboard. Hope you're still here. I would feel overwhelmed and scared. You know, Maria, I totally deal with overwhelm on a daily basis. I mean, I'm not kidding you. I know I put on this persona that I'm this tough old girl running this business, but I totally understand. And I just did a great podcast with Scott of the Flower Podcast, and we talked about a lot of this behind the scenes stuff. And you are not alone. And that's why I feel it is imperative to be with a group of people that are on the same page with you, that have the same goal, to help you, to be your cheerleader, to help you over bumps, to answer questions, to support you, to help you and encourage you, and for you to do that for other people. And I just can't tell you what a difference that makes. If I had not joined an online course years ago in business, I would never still be in business now. I mean, you build relationships in there that go across borders. And I'll tell you this little short story. So, the big hurricane, I'm on the East Coast, I'm in Virginia. Thankfully, we did not really have any hurricane damage from Helena, but a lot of my students did along the East Coast. And two of my students, one lives in Florida. She was one of my original students in 2018. And then another student, Jonalyn, is my student in Florida of, if you may know her, Blossom Lane. You ought to follow her on social media. She is killing it in the flower farming business. And Daniel Shavy of Petal Pickers. And he was my student the second year my course came out. Daniel sustained damage. He lost some of the skins on his greenhouses. And Jonalyn's husband went up to South Carolina and helped him. And those are the kind of relationships that are being built in our communities, because this is where people come together that are all have their eye on the same ball. And it just makes all the difference in the world. So, Maria, do not feel overwhelmed. And that's how we all feel. And yes, Gardeners Gone Wild. That was my dream. I just kept growing more and more stuff, and I had to start selling flowers, or we were going to have like a funeral home look inside our home, right? What is this? Haven't sold any of my stems yet. It's everything that is at the end. Yeah. So here's a good question. Fly Girl, how often do you offer boot camp? I can't answer. This is the first time I've ever offered it. And, we do different things at different times. So I don't know that we'll do this again, but we might. So I really can't say, but this is how, this is my current way of meeting people where they are to help them block out the noise, focus on the course, get in and do it, so that we can come out of winter as equipped and confident flower farmers. This does not mean you're not going to have failures, friends. This doesn't mean you're not going to have problems. It just means you're going to have somebody with their hand on your back to help you get up off the floor, or to say, it's all right, we'll hit it again. What did you learn from that? It just makes all the difference in the world. How do I keep up with demand? That's a really interesting question. I had a system. It's like we kept a waiting list of customers. I wasn't juggling between 50 customers. I had a certain number of customers I let in, and then other people that contacted me, I'd say, oh my goodness, I would love to take care of you, but I have no openings now, but I'll put you on the list. And it just means you have never ending customers. Oh my goodness, Mary Gray has already got the class. So Mary Gray, you'll be getting an email. The first boot camp session is next week, and it'll be on a private link. And I can't wait for 12 months from now for you too, because that's the real goal for me. I know that next November 1st of 2025 is going to be very different for a lot of people. Because of boot camp, just helping people to focus and concentrate, and for us to meet up and just encourage. And if you need to be held accountable, I'm sure there's somebody that'll help you do that in the group, All right, friends. So what is this? Biggest fear is not being totally confident on timing of seed starting and planning to be successful for plants to grow. Michelle, trust me on this. We will figure that out. And my book, the Cut Flower Handbook, which is nothing about business, it's all about the growing part, right? It really nails. It actually has places in there for you to write your dates for like when your planting window is for different, like for warm season annuals and your planting window for cool season annuals. And then you literally sit down and count back. All right, if I can plant, then when do I start the seeds? Okay, this is when I start the seeds. And so it's really simple, but you just have to do it. And my master class, I think I mentioned I have a private membership and I do a master class once a month in there for them. And that's literally what the master class is in November, is filling out the big calendar. I talk about the big calendar in Cool Flowers, in all of my books. It's what runs my farm. I don't know when to do it either, Michelle. I have to sit down and fill out the calendar every year, and it just guides me throughout. So that we can handle that. We can handle that. Job, single mom, running house, but the joy of growing flowers helps me every day. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that because, it is, flowers are really, really joyful. So there's a lot of questions in here. Where do I get insurance? Is it a good idea to get a government grant for small businesses? I want this farm to become amazing. How do I leave my full-time job? I'm scared. Well, you would never even consider leaving your full-time job, Marie, until you have several years under your belt, because it's not just starting a business. You're learning how to farm. Those are two big learning curves. But what I was going to say is that first class in flower farming school, we talk about the insurance thing, about where you can go to start figuring out about licensings, and all of that kind of stuff. And you are not alone in wondering and worrying about all of this. And that's why it's included in the class. And here's another student. Bonnie, I am so glad you're in flower farming school, and I can't wait to connect with you in our boot camp. And Sam says the community of farmers is my missing link here. Yeah, I mean, it's like any business. I mean, if you talk, funny enough, I was just at the vet with the dog, and he told me he had just returned from a veterinarian conference. He goes every year, and it like restores his soul, right? It's like being with people that are doing the same thing as you, that are knowledgeable and are professionals. It makes all of the difference in the world. All right. You're so welcome. And Marie, we talk about customer service. We're going to talk you through all of that. And so I am in Virginia and I am in Southeastern Virginia, and the course is not specific to my growing conditions. And so I just thank you guys for showing up. And once again, I'll say you can head over to thegardenersworkshop.com. It's at the top of every page for Flower Farming School, or you can click this link. And when you enroll by tomorrow night, November 8th of 2024, you get the bonus 7 boot camps that start on November 14th and go through January 23rd. And I would love to meet you in boot camp. Now, I'm going to take this down. And so, friends, I just want to close this up by saying that starting any business is hard. You would never just start a copy machine store tomorrow without having training, without knowing something, not without having support, right? It's no different with flower farming. It's just really easy as flower farmers to just fall into it as a gardener. But there's so much more than that if you want to be successful. And to be successful, you become a professional so that you can sell to professional people who are the people that pay top dollar. And that's what flower farming school does. All All students enrolled by November 8th, which is tomorrow night, will be invited to boot camp. And I can't wait for us to tackle the first mini session, which I'm going to be talking about time management. And if you can't manage your time, you cannot manage a business. I mean, that's just truth. So I hope to see you in there, and I just can't wait to walk with you through building your flower farming business. And Flower Farming School is where we can do it together, friends. So thank you so much for showing up, right? And till we meet again, friends, in Flower Farming School, I hope. Ciao.